Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another third-party unlicensed 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. Today we're taking a look at the Hellcat version B, Caesar, based off his appearance in the more modern Planet of the Apes movies. Now I got mine at a discount from KG Hobby. I've popped a link to their site in the description for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video, it's a review, all opinions 100% my own. If you're heading down that way, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as brand new third-party content goes live. This is going to be a very quick unboxing segment because as for the box art, there is none. It's literally a plain black box with some logos on it. Now, I know nothing about Hellcat, whether or not they're a brand new company or an existing one under a different name, not sure, but as soon as I saw the different versions of Caesar, I knew I had to have one, and I picked up version B because of the war paint, plus the horse. We'll look at it separately a little bit later. First in-hand impressions for him, really freaking heavy. I'm loving the look of the sculpt. He's got moving eyes, he's covered in fur, so much to discuss here. What we're going to do now, though, is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box there underneath this top layer of foam, and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Almost everything he comes with. Not the horse yet. We'll look at the horse a little bit later, but for now, starting off with the display base first, very simple. Circular, low-profile, centerpiece-style base. No artwork, no logos on it, like I said, simple. Up top, though, a height-adjustable crotch grabber. The detail on this spear is sensational. The sculpt work for the netting and the wraps. This looks like a real bone up top. There's a gradient effect to it. There's black washes. I've never heard of Hellcat, but this level of detail on an accessory, awesome. The same thing can be said for the M16. Can you see the sculpted weathering on this front grip as though this has been banged around? It's an old, aged weapon. There's a rusty loop on the back. It's a real die-cast loop. I hope that's not real rust because I don't want to get tetanus, but it looks very convincing. Removable magazine, sculpted and painted bullet detail, silver dry brush over the main body. You can open up the bullet ejection port, and you can even make out the sculpted writing on this side of the main body of the M16. And then the hands. The weathering. It's not even weathering, it's the war paint, as though Caesar has just applied his war paint and it's still on the back of his hands, or he's applied some on there as well. There's these furry pads that'll help blend in the seam from the base of the hands to the forearms. You'll see what I mean in a second. These are splayed out fingers curled in open palm hands. Gripping hands and prying them open to pop the spear in there, easy as. You don't need to grab a hairdryer for that. Two relaxed-ish open palm hands, and one trigger finger hand. I like that the grip isn't perfect, it's angled slightly because the M16 was not designed to be used by apes and they don't really hold them properly in the movie. You can recreate that in 1/6 scale. What we're going to do now is take a look at the horse. You know, it's kind of crazy. In a very short amount of time, I've gone from having 0 1/6 scale horses in the collection to 2 of them. In Art Nazgul's horse, looks a lot meaner than this one, and Caesar's horse. Now that I've started adding horses to the collection, I'm starting to think maybe I need more of them. Imagine a horse with The Witcher, for example, or Red Dead Redemption's Arthur Morgan. The possibilities are endless. The Last of Us, Joel and Ellie on horseback. Considering that, we'll just have to wait and see if I decide to get more horses. But this is a statue. It's made of some kind of heavy-duty resin. It is hollow, though, but quite sturdy and hefty feeling. A lot of hair texture sculpted into the body, and we've got real hair for the mane up top and for the tail. The horse's head sculpt, if you want to call it that, no complaints from me. The wrinkling around the mouth, and then all of the detail on the top of the head, around the eye. There's some red paint in the corner there. Horses, I think, typically have that. Not a huge horse fan, so no idea. There's sculpted detail on the inside of the ear, and the reins are real twine. They're weathered, they look suitably organic, as though this is something that Caesar or his clan could have foreseeably made. There's no saddle on the horse's back. I believe that's movie accurate, and you don't need one anyway. Caesar can sit on here no problem. The horse's legs are slightly spread for a more natural stance. I wouldn't have minded articulated legs. Yes, it would have added complexity, maybe some seams, but the horse with the black fur and all of this sculpt work, the seams would have been quite well hidden, I think. Either way, they didn't do that, they went static, and I understand why. Let's move on, let's get Caesar himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that for now. Stay tuned towards the end of the video. That's when we bust out the dynamic moving camera, we do some sick poses. It will be worth it, I promise. Hellcat? Holy shit, this figure is good. The proportions, the head sculpt, the expression on that sculpt. There's so much life coming through with this piece. The presence that Caesar has is undeniable. I expected them to shit the bed. To be totally honest, I did not think this thing was going to be good. But now that I have it in hand, I am gobsmacked with how remarkable this piece truly is. If you were on the fence, we're early on in the video. Seriously, consider getting this, because I really don't think we're going to get a better version of Caesar in 1/6 scale, at least not anytime soon. Up close and personal, kicking things off with Caesar's head sculpt, and what a glorious head sculpt this is. I have no idea who Hellcat is, if they've got any previous releases under their belt, but this is beautiful. Like, I've seen version A, and the sculpt is just as good as this. It's the exact same head sculpt. The war paint adds so much to this. The white has just sunk into all of the sculpted crevices, the wrinkles, the skin texture, the pores. Like, the detail on the upper lip there is insane. And what makes this head sculpt even better is it's got moving eyes. There's so much life to the eyes, there's gloss finish to them, there's some vein work. When we move the eyes around, I reckon this head sculpt is going to come to life. Let's talk about the hair. Getting these individual strands lined up around the perimeter of the head sculpt, the entire perimeter, without having any glue showing, is mind-blowing. Like, Hot Toy struggles with just a hairline up top, but Hellcat managed to do this, managed to do it really well. This might or might not be their first release, but either way, I am so impressed with it. Styling the hair, not that tricky. I mean, I like it looking a bit messier, but I've seen some people slick it all back and have him with that wet look. That's also an option. I'm just gonna tame as much of it as I can and then leave it to kind of do its own thing. So to move the eyes around, it's a magnetic head sculpt. That makes this sculpt even better for me. There's two independently moving joysticks inside the sculpt. I want to give Caesar some side eye, see what that looks like on the body. You see, look at that. This sculpt with side eye, head tilt forward, so much attitude. He looks pissed, and the war paint just comes into its own when you dial in the head position with some side eye. So my Caesar, I'll be displaying him like this. Back to looking straightforward now, let's discuss the body. It's a custom body specific to Caesar, and we'll talk about paint apps, but the proportions are perfect. The big bulky chest, he narrows down at the waist, he's got that ape physique, the longer arms, the shorter legs, and they've made strategic cuts in the fur bodysuit for maximum range of motion for articulation. Like the arms, they're plugged in separately to the body, so you can move them independently of the fur suit over the top. Yes, you can see the cut, but honestly, just use the hair, futz it around, and you can sort of hide that. Even the cuts for the wrist pegs are cleverly disguised. You can bring the sleeves, don't really feel comfortable calling his furry skin sleeves, but you can bring them over the top of the ends of the hands, which are also covered in fur, to completely hide that seam. Like, you wouldn't even be able to see that from a distance. I've seen some people touch up the white and red paint apps on his chest. I'm tempted to do that. I like the muted look, but having something more poppy on the front of Caesar could work for him. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Should I leave it or should I touch it up? His legs are pretty buff for the upper thighs, then they slim down towards the ankles. There's a split for the ankle joint to give you maximum range. You can't even really see that, and if you do spot that joint, you can shape the fur bodysuit to hide it, just like what we discussed for the wrist pegs. The exposed feet, there's wrinkling on them and the toenails, then some more detail on the underside. One little thing to be aware of with this Caesar is he sheds like crazy. Don't freak out if you pose Caesar, then you look at your hands and there's fur all over them. He's got so much fur on him, I don't think he's ever going to go bald, but there will be a little bit of cleanup required in your display on your hands after you've dialed in the pose for Caesar. For a quick side-by-side comparison, I'm sorry, I didn't know who to compare Caesar to. I don't have any other apes in the collection, not yet at least, considering Koba at this very moment, but we'll see. Caesar on the left, Wicket the Ewok on the right. Caesar is taller than Wicket, but still a lot shorter than standard 1/6 scale figures. Going over articulation, this is a custom body specific to Caesar, so I've got no idea what to expect. Just be aware that when you move stuff around, the figure has a tendency to shed, so you might find some hairs on your fingers or in the display. Just be mindful of that. Starting off with the head sculpt, it's on a magnet and a ball peg. Looking forward to there, looking up to there, swivel, and a little bit of pivot side to side. Arms are plugged in separately at the shoulders, going up to there, forward and back, butterfly joint that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep that moves surprisingly freely, given it's covered in fur. Double bend at the elbow going past 90, then for the wrist peg, it's a hinge and swivel. Torso is padded to give him this muscular look, so crunching forward is restricted to there, bounces back, going back to there, swivel, and a little bit of pivot side to side. Legs will go forward to there, don't want to force them any further than that, going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Double bend at the knee, pretty low on the leg, going past 90. Then a double ball peg for the ankles, good for forward and back, rotation, as well as ankle tilt. Wrapping up on Hellcat Caesar, this figure is so much better than I expected it to be. My expectations were real low because third-party company, new company I'd never heard of, complex design, fur bodysuit, moving eyes, funky proportions. Anything at any level could have gone wrong. None of it did. They have delivered a stellar product with this. He might not be perfect. He sheds a lot. You need to do some work to get the hair for the bodysuit to look as good as possible. But once you dial everything in, this figure comes to life, especially thanks to the moving eyes and the expression with that sculpt, the detail there, and the horse. As soon as you pop him on that horse, it elevates the piece to a level where it is centerpiece quality. That's how good this is. So at the end of this, do I recommend Hellcat's version B Warpaint Caesar? 100%. Now, I got mine at a discount from KG Hobby. I've popped a link to their site in the description for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video. It's a review. All opinions are 100% my own. If you're heading down that way, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.